In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to properly produce Camtasia projects in the format required for the Virtual Learning Commons. Here I have a Camtasia project open. Let's say that I'm done with it. What I'm going to do is go to Produce and Share. I'm going to click on this. And if you click on this drop-down arrow, you'll see a variety of options. What you're going to choose is Custom Production Settings. So you're going to highlight that and hit Next. Again, here you have multiple options. You're going to make sure that the first option is checked off, mp4, FLV, and Swift flash outputs, and go to Next. From here, you don't really need to worry about the controller and the theme, but you want it to be uniform, so make sure that it's set to Express Show and the theme is black. Sometimes you'll get these options over here on the right, depending upon how your video is made. If you have captions, make sure you check Captions and Closed Captions. Table of Contents should not be checked. Again, you may not have the options here on this side, depending upon how your video is set up. So now we're going to want to produce this file in two formats, in an mp4 format and an SWF format. I like to do everything a regimented way, so I always produce the mp4 first and then the Swift after. You don't have to do it in that order, but I like to keep everything organized like that. So you're going to click this drop-down arrow and choose mp4. Now for video size, you're going to click the drop-down arrow and choose 640 by 480. You don't have to worry about this right here, flash options for now. Then you're going to click on Next. On this page, check off SCORM and HTML, embed video into HTML. Don't check off include watermark. Now you're going to hit Next. Here, you're going to choose a name for your file. Now for Title 3, you're going to put the first three letters of your content area in capital letters. So let's pretend that this is reading. So I'm going to put in capital letters RDG, then an underscore. Now here I'm going to put the name of my learning object. Let's just call this parts of speech. So this you could capitalize or not. So I'm going to do parts underscore of underscore speech. Don't ever put any spaces in your titles. Anytime you need to put a space, put an underscore, not a hyphen, not a period, just underscores. And then here you're going to choose the folder where you want this file to go. I like to have two folders, one for mp4 and one for SWF. So before you start doing this process, you should create a folder for each somewhere on your computer. If you don't have that done already, you could always click on this folder icon. And let's just put this on the desktop. And you could create a new folder by right-clicking and then just selecting New Folder. So I'm just going to do mp4. And while I'm at it, I'll also create a SWF folder. So right-click and do New again, Folder, SWF. This makes it really easy to organize your files. So again, this is a good idea to do before you start creating your learning objects, but if you don't, you could always do it in this step here. I'm going to choose mp4 because this is an mp4, and I'm going to put it into the mp4 folder. And I'm going to hit Open, and I'm just going to do Save. Once you choose the folder you want the file to go in, there's a couple of other things you need to look at on this screen. Make sure that Organize Produced Files into Subfolders is checked. Under Post-Production Options, you could have Show Production Results checked. You do not need to have Play Video After Production checked unless you want it to play. and you do not need to have upload video by FTP checked either. So when you're done, just hit finish, and here the video is going to render. If your video is under 5 minutes long, it should take only a minute to fully render. If your video is longer and has maybe captions, or if the actual file size is larger, it's going to take much longer. So you just sit and wait until that's done. When your video is finished rendering, you'll get this production results screen, and it shows that it completed successfully. So you could just hit finish. Now we're not done yet, because we need to also produce this file as an SWF file. So what you're going to do is go back up to Produce and Share. Again, choose Custom Production Settings right here. Click on Next. Make sure that the first option is checked, mp4 FLV SWF. Click on Next. Controller should still be Express Show. The theme should still be black. Now here, the file format, you're going to click on the drop down arrow and you're going to choose SWF. The video size should still be 640x480. Now here again, for this particular video, I have captions, so I want to make sure those are checked. I do not want a table of contents. Now right here for flash options, click on this button, and you're going to make sure that compressed SWF is checked, use JPEG compression is checked, and that the file quality is set to 100% higher quality. Now with SWF files, sometimes you're going to find that if they're very large, you may have to go back in and reproduce the video at a lower quality to make the file size smaller, because on the VLC, the files have to be 24.4 megabytes or smaller. So you may encounter that problem, in which case you would just go back into the Camtasia project and do the same process again and just experiment with lowering the quality of the SWF. If you lower the quality, the video is not going to be as crisp, it's going to be fuzzier, but you just want to find a happy medium between being under the 24 megabytes and being decent quality. So I'm going to leave this at highest quality. So then you're going to hit OK, click on Next. Again, make sure that SCORM is checked and that HTML, embed video into HTML, is checked. Do not check include watermark. Click Next. Again, I'm going to have the same name for the SWF as the mp4. So it's going to be RDG underscore parts underscore of underscore speech. Here, for folder, I'm going to put this SWF file in the SWF folder, which I had created already. So I'm going to click on the Browse button here, and it was on my desktop right here. So choose the SWF folder, open, and then go ahead and save. And these same options should be checked. Organize produce files into subfolders, show production results. The other two do not need to be checked. And you're going to click on Finish. And now you're just going to wait for the video to render. Okay, so once your video has successfully rendered, you'll get this window, confirmation window, and go ahead and click Finish. So I'm just going to minimize Camtasia, and I'm just going to look at these two folders right here. So I have my mp4 folder and my SWF folder. I'm going to open my mp4 folder. As you could see, Camtasia makes a folder with all the files needed to make this video work. So it's a folder called RDG underscore parts of speech. Go ahead and open that. and you'll see all these different files. The only file that you'll need to be concerned with as far as uploading to My Groups is this file right here, the mp4 file. Okay, I will go over uploading to My Groups in the next video. You can close this, and I'm going to open up the SWF folder, and it's the same thing here. Open up this folder, and you don't need to be concerned with any of these files except for this one that says SWF file right here. It's the only one you'll need to worry about. Now there's going to be another SWF file called Express Install. You don't need to worry about that. Just the one that has the title of learning object right here.